Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Lala Key, international real estate agent and your host for today. In this episode, we've got something very interesting that it really affects our community. So we're going to be talking about a crucial issue of racial discrimination in the hiring process. This is Dwight Jackson. He's a 27-year-old Black man. He filed a lawsuit against the Shinola Hotel in downtown Detroit on July the 3rd. He is alleging that he was denied a job when he applied as Dwight Jackson, but later offered an interview when he applied under the name John Jabrowski. Now, this lawsuit alleges a violation of the Michigan Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act. And he actually says to be denied a job in 2024 in your hometown for the color of your skin goes beyond dollars and cents. It goes into the psyche of a person. So today I am joined by some awesome queens, Athena Gardner, who is our CPA and wealth coach, Madonna Brown, who is our financial strategist, and we have a wonderful guest queen of the day, Yolanda Spivey. And she is a writer, an entrepreneur, an insurance expert, an all-around favorite friend. But guess what? She actually has been experimenting and conducting similar discrimination things. So she is going to be our expert on the panel today. Hello, ladies. I'm so glad that you're here. I think this is a wonderful topic. I'm going to kick us off, though, because, listen, it was very interesting that this gentleman, to me, Dwight is a simple name. I know white Dwights, and I know Black Dwights, but the minute he changed his name, it seems like everything changed for him. So I'm going to ask you, Madonna, what is your initial thoughts on this?
I hate it, but unfortunately, it is a fact of life. And it's not just in jobs. We've heard it with home appraisals. We've heard it in banking. You know, being Black and banking, having more than almost $1,000, you're in trouble in that bank. So sadly, it's infuriating, but it's also like, really, in 2024 still?
I often ask my question that I keep going, what year is this? Like it seems like I ask myself that question every single day, more than once. Athena, what are your thoughts about that? Because you have the goddess name. That's absolutely adorable. I love it.
Listen, I thank my mother. Like a goddess. Thank you. I thank my mother and my father every day for that name, because that name has definitely opened doors for me, and I'm grateful for it. I feel very bad that this has happened, but I think it's a fact of life. I know that there were certain instances in my life where they were expecting an applicant that was non-Black. Right? Because I'm a CPA, and I remember my resume says Athena Gardner. So there and only 2% of CPAs are Black. So I know been instances I walked in and they weren't expecting. So I think it's unfortunate, and I'm glad that this man sued and he's getting his comeuppance and reparations for the discrimination he has experienced in this situation.
I am too. Now, before I hit you, Yolanda, I want to say welcome to everybody who's joining us. And I'm going to ask you, our viewers, if you have ever experienced the similar discrimination in the job market, you or anyone that you love. Now, Yolanda, I'm going to pitch it to you because I know that you have experience in racial discrimination and hiring practices. And I can't wait to hear what you have to share with us today. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for having me. I appreciate it. And, it's 2024, and I can believe that this is still going on. Yeah. I mean, after all, we're Black, so this is going to continue as long as America just, gets its act together. But yes, I did have a similar experience to the young man who went in and, tried to apply for a job under his real name and didn't get it. I mean, do you want me to go into my experiment and what happened with me?
Oh, please share it. Please share your experience. I'm sure that many people are going to want to hear this. We have a lot of great people in the room who's already kind of started saying, stop using big banks. We talk about, Madonna said banks, but it doesn't matter big or small. You never know. To me, in this situation, the name of the hotel is difficult. So how are you going to discriminate somebody with a simple name as Dwight? But we would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So back in 2011, I believe I'm a late bloomer. I was in college and I was graduating with my BA degree. And I was talking to my classmates and, some of them were white. And one of the girls, she said, "Oh, I just got a job." And I was like, "Where?" She said I can't really say their name because I don't want to get sued, but she did say a very prominent sporting place. And I was like, "Wow, how did you get that job?" And she said, "I don't know. I just walked in and the human resource lady liked me and she hired me on the spot." And I said, "What?" And she said, "I never had a job before in my life." And that kind of like triggered something in me because here it was 2011. I'm trying to find a job. I was applying to different jobs, couldn't find anything underneath my name, Yolanda Spivey. And I said, something is not right. How did this little, white girl just go into an office and get a job off the bat? So when I went home, I talked about it with one of my friends and she was like, I said, I think I should do an experiment. And so she egged me on. "Yeah, do it." So I went on Monster. So my experiment from, I think his name is, what's the young man's name, Dwight? My experiment is a little bit different from his because back in the day, we had to fill out what race we were in order to apply for jobs. So on monster.com, I was applying before as Yolanda Spivey. So what I did was I changed my resume to Bianca White, kept all the same credentials. And then on Monster, I created a second profile and I put down that I was white. And when I made that resume active, I had so many people calling me in for a job. I mean, people from different places in the United States, like different states, they wanted to fly me in for an interview. They wanted to, some of them wanted to hire me on the spot because my resume was that impressive. And I conducted the experiment for like a week. And I mean, that experiment told me everything I needed to know, that yes, there is a, stalk discrimination in the hiring practices with white America. And I wanted to say this. During that time that, I was going through what I was going through, it feels so similar. At the time period, it was an election period. It was, the economy wasn't doing too well. And white America at the time was holding jobs just for themselves. And they really weren't hiring Black people. So, I can understand why now, because now there is rumors that it's hard to get a job. So maybe they were holding those jobs for white people, and anyone with a Black name or who they feel is of a different race, they were not going to hire them. So the same thing happened to me. As a result, I was angry because I was shocked, and not naive, but just shocked, like, daggone, this is still going on. It's 2011. And so I wrote about it. And when I wrote about it, just media outlets picked it up. And that's when it went viral. And so many people started asking me questions, flying me out to interviews, CNN and other places just interviewed me about my experiment. And I mean, the rest is history. So
I find that absolutely fascinating. And the fact that we have some really great comments I want to bring into our conversation. There is someone, and I don't want to mispronounce your name, Osawa. I'm sorry. That's tough for me to pronounce. And if I didn't, just sound it out for me and I'll correct myself. She stated that the white lady who interviewed her with her fake first and last name wanted to switch the phone option of the interview to Zoom. Racism in hiring is real, that I dislike Zoom interviews. So now what you were saying is that, they don't see you, but now we're in a different world where we're using Zoom. Ladies, my other queens, I'm going to get to. You got some questions for you too. But I want to ask you, Yolanda, when this happened, did you ever decide to show up off of the name that you used and then shock them in the fact that you were a different race than what they thought?
I know a lot of people ask me that. I just physically at the time just could not do it. My mind, I had a lot of stuff going on personally where I just could not, show up to the interview as Bianca White. I just didn't have the time to. I needed to find a job and fast because a lot of things around me was failing, so I just could not do it. But I wish I had done it because let me tell you, 2 to 3 years after I had done that experiment, do you know job seekers were still calling Bianca White? They were still calling her.
Got to be kidding. Like that just was trickle effect all the way down. Now, listen, we are facing a lot of issues with DEI now. People want to just level that off the table. Do you see that this is going to be a more difficult springboard now that they want to get rid of all DEI in companies and hiring practices?
I think that it will force us to build our own at this point, because that's what I did. Once I completed my experiment, for instance, and the world started opening up and being nice to Black folk again. Okay. I went to interviews. I was called to interviews under my name, Yolanda Spivey, and they loved me. They wanted to hire me. But as soon as they did the background check and they saw the interviews and they saw the write-ups and things like that, they rescinded the offer. So I was stuck. They actually blackballed me from the industry. Yeah. So at that point, the only thing I could do was just build my own. That's why I said with this DEI thing, I mean, at this point, it's time for us to build our own and hire our own people so that we can kind of buffer whatever white America is giving us.
It breaks my heart that we have to be in this position and people still today don't believe that this is an issue. It's very clearly an issue. If you're just now joining us, we'd like to welcome you. You're at Fly Nubian Money. We're here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you ever miss any of our episodes, you always can catch us and watch the replays. But if you don't want to miss us at any time because you know you're addicted, you want to make sure that you type the word Queens, Queens, to 87948, and you'll be notified every time that we go live. Then also you can take us on the road with you. All you have to do is subscribe to us on Spotify, and it's the same name, Fly Nubian Money, and then you can take us everywhere you go. And then finally, guys, we're talking about jobs. Jobs affects money. This channel talks about money, and you can get us on our website, and we have a ton of great resources for you. We have financial classes, we have handouts. So if you just want to get your money right and tight, make sure that you go to our website, flynubianmoney.com. Today we have a wonderful guest who has so much experience in this. We are talking about a young man who applied for a job and never got hired for it, but then the minute he changed his name to a more suitable name for white America, he got a lot of job offers, and now he is suing. And I'm actually kind of glad he did. Athena, I have a question for you. So you work for yourself, you have your own job, but how do you think that government regulations and civil rights plays into preventing discrimination? You own your company. Are you hiring as well? Do you take names into account?
Well, I'm a pretty open-minded person, and I'm Black, so I know not to judge a book by its cover. So if I were to hire anyone, I've outsourced a lot of work to different people from Indian, Chinese, Black, white, so that doesn't concern me. I do think that the changes with DEI specifically, which we've seen across states and even upper government, making changes to that, I think that will definitely negatively impact us across the board in industries, and whether it is private sector or whether it's in education, because that's basically saying that we're not going to be as concerned or cater to marginalized groups and Black people anymore. What I also want to even put in the conversation as something that we can consider is the effect of AI as it pertains to discrimination as a whole, but also a part of this name discrimination. Because in Smart Queen, so I do have an AI business certification from the University of Pennsylvania, and I remember when I was studying for that certification that there was a lot of biases in the machine learning technology and how the AI was working on their algorithms, and how that actually a lot of work has to be done to kind of even remove discrimination. So in the future, with all the changes in the job market, especially, there's different apps that you can do the job search for you, and AI will have a role in that. I think what would be projected to happen is that we would face these situations more often, actually.
I agree with you. I am really working very hard in the AI world. I'm fascinated with it. And I noticed that it is so biased when it comes to anything outside of the white world. I do images quite a bit, and I have to be overly wordy when I type in anything that looks like us, because we come in such a rainbow of beautiful colors that I have to, like, honey colored skin, mocha colored skin. You know, it's really interesting how this is also going to be affecting us, and especially many people who are using resumes with AI. Madonna, you are our financial strategist, and I want to ask you, what financial challenges are unique to those who face discrimination in the job market?
Well, you can see it very, very clearly when it comes to educating our people about life insurance and what it does. Many of us in our community are still scarred by what happened to either our parents or our grandparents. And back in the day, there was some white man coming into the neighborhood. You know, their parents or grandparents were paying for life insurance. And then when they passed away, there was maybe $200, but that parent or that person had been paying for 30, 40 years, or there was nothing. So having to teach people that life insurance is not just a death benefit, and having to have our community overcome, oh no, I'm not doing that. My grandmother, my mother, it's like, no, please. I give them, I have some PDFs that I like to educate people on. So having to get that fear out of what life insurance is and say, hey, it's not what your parents has. It's your family bank. I like to let people know Stanford University was started with life insurance. Walt Disney World was started with life insurance. Pampered Chef was started with life insurance. So stop thinking of life insurance as one thing and show what it really can be, and to show how you can be a 1%er, although you are a 99%er with life insurance. So the biggest thing is financial literacy, teaching financial literacy to our people so that we can literally become a 1%er in one generation. So teaching and educating.
I think that's they wanted it to be very loud. What is going on with this mic? Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you, our group. I don't know why that's doing that, because I haven't changed anything. I'm going to mute myself for a second, guys. See if that clicks anything. All right. Okay. It sounds like it did, whatever it was. We have some wonderful comments I want to talk about because this is a really important topic. Rodine Frazier says, this one hits home for me for sure. I remember shortening my name to make it easier for people, but it definitely has a psychological effect. It feels like it diminishes your identity. I totally agree. I agree with that. I have many friends who have beautiful names, and they have had to change them and shorten them because people made them feel uncomfortable about their name instead of trying to learn how to pronounce their name, which brings me to a wonderful clip I want us to bring up. There is a beautiful actress, and she has a very unusual name. So I'm not even going to tell you who she is. I'm going to bring it up and you're going to be surprised. She is very well known in a lot of good movies, but let's hear what she has to say.
Ask you a question. She said, I said, can you call me Zoe? And she stopped and gave that mother look that only mothers know and have and said, why? And I said, because no one can say Ozamaka. And she looked at me and she said, if they can learn to say Tchaikovsky and Michelangelo and Dostoevsky, then they can learn to say Ozamaka.
Absolutely powerful, and we all know that she went along and did I got introduced to her with Orange is the New Black, which is an absolutely wonderful series, and she did an excellent job. Yolanda, I have a question for you. With this situation and you getting all this media attention, how is it that you now could advise those with unusual names to still be able to stand in their power and know when it's discrimination or not because of their skills?
Yeah, I actually wrote an article about that a few years ago for Miss Magazine, because Raven Simone supposedly had said some words on The View about Black sounding names. I always tell people to please do not mask who you are. We're on this earth for a very short period of time. Be you. Force people to pronounce your name. I have clients who are African, and some of them have the very hard names to pronounce. But I study the name and I ask them, please let me know how to pronounce it so that when I do speak with you, I'm saying your full name. Please do not shorten your name on my behalf, because I can say Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can say their name. Okay. So I say their name. I learn their name and I tell them, stand in your power and force people to learn your name. I feel that if people do not learn your name, they just dismissive of you. They don't really care to get to know you. If I love you, I'm going to learn your name. And I love
Exactly. And that was the perfect point in our show. I didn't know how to pronounce someone, and if I don't, I ask. I have always done that. I want to address a comment that we had earlier on. I didn't want to dismiss this comment because I think it's really interesting. Tasha T said, that's why I changed my son's first name and his middle name, which I never wanted to do. Made his first name Joshua for job purposes. Do you feel that we need to squash our history, our beautiful names, because we don't quite fit in with what America wants us to do? I'd love to hear your comments on this, Madonna.
I would hope not. Why are you stripping yourself of who you are? So I think, yes, you have to look reality in the face. And this country, really the world, is going through something right. I would, when Black women started giving their kids different names, and there was a big uproar about the name Shaniqua or whatever. And even our own people, like in that Martin show, there were jokes, there was always the big lip, red lipstick, crazy looking woman who had a Black name. But then I remember years later, they were like, I read something, and I'm sorry, I can't recall what it was, but these were just people coming up, stripping away the European of their kids and giving them the name they felt appropriate. So no, I don't think. I mean, it's no different than an Uzoamaka coming from Africa. But in Africa, that's a very common name. Here, it may be uncommon, but it's common there. But whatever you name your child, name it with your full chest and wear it. And again, that can even be people coming from other countries who want to, because they want to be American, or I'm going to shorten it, or I'm going to, like I've seen or heard or known quite a few Asians who their name is something over in Asia. And then they come here, oh, my name is Sue. It's like, really? Is your name Sue? So no, say it with your full chest and make people learn it like Yolanda said.
That's right.
I have a real who is her mother came over from, I believe, Korea, and her name is Pani, but it's pronounced Bonnie, because when her mother first came over, she kept saying she was saying Pani, but the immigration didn't know how to do that, so they spelled it Bonnie. So she now she has the story saying she makes it a joke, like my name is Pani, but my mother sounded like she was saying Bonnie, so they put Bonnie on my paperwork. So and to me, that was completely disrespectful. The fact that we just assumed that's what it was, didn't correct it or make a correction. She is about the same age as I am, about 53, 54. And she has lived with this story her whole life. I find that it's not just our communities, but there are other communities who have unusual names that are also facing this same thing. I am loving how many people we have in here. We've got some great comments. We have got some good conversation going on. Athena, I do want to ask you, are we putting too much on a name? Other groups use nicknames. Hey, I go by Lala. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, the wise words of Birdman, put some respect on my name, honey. Okay. But in all seriousness, that is a question that I've always contemplated as well, because I remember going through grad school and my early career in accounting, and a lot of my Asian peers who were from China, grad school, trying to get their firm job and get that H-1B visa, honey, they had what was called an American name, because their Asian name was often too difficult to pronounce or whatever, or to adapt to the culture, or to just make it easier for everyone to address them. And I've seen that in corporate America all the time. And I remember also when I was in grad school, I dated an African guy. He was 6'7", he was but his name was ridiculously long. It was like Muna Chim, it was one of those African names, which I would have taken the time to pronounce, right? But he did everyone a favor and just shortened it to Muna, and that was what he was called. So what I appreciated, and not to say that I'm telling everyone that they need to do this, but they were like, listen, I'm not going against the tide. I'm not going against the current. Okay, I have other fish to fry. I'm trying to make a way in America. If me shortening my name, having an American name, having a nickname to get to the positions that I need to get, and then once I'm there, I can impose my name all I want. I liked that strategy. Sometimes we just need to. You have to pick what is more important, what's more beneficial, because guess what? These societal structures, racism, all of that is not changing overnight. So is it better to use strategy or have a nickname? Because even in a lot of job applications now, they ask for your nickname. Just put your little nickname on there, get the job, and then on the first day you say, you know what, I prefer to be called so-and-so.
I agree. I've been called Lala from the very beginning, but I have a very simple name. It's Laura. And that is a very also common Caucasian name. So I never had that issue, but I do have the issue when I'm in front of people because of my light skin, them assuming things about what I am. And I have heard some things standing in front of people that were absolutely horrendous and would burn your ears. Listen, if you're just now joining us, you are joining Fly Nubian Money. We are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have deep conversations and things that affect our community. And so we're very glad that you're here. But if you ever miss any of our episodes, you always can catch us on Spotify, Same name, Fly Nubian Money. Make sure you go over there, you like and subscribe there. Give us a 5-star rating because you know our topics are hot, baby. And then guess what, guys? We are looking for guests. If you think you have what it takes to join us, all you have to do is email us at info@realvirtual.net. And I'm going to spell that info@REEL virtual.net. And we would love to have you on. Our beautiful guest queen today is Yolanda. We're so happy to have you here. I have a question for you again, Yolanda. Mm-hmm. How do you think lawsuits like Dwight Jackson's can impact future hiring practices?
Wow. Oh, goodness. I mean, to be honest with you, Lala, I don't think it's going to do anything, to be honest with you, because we had lawsuits like this since forever, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So we will always sue. We will always be suing. So I don't think it will change until America's children change. When they change, then things will change. And we have to keep in mind too, these companies have insurance. Okay. So they have insurance to protect themselves from these type of incidents, and they really just don't care. So it has to be something that is, how can I say, like a chain reaction of things. If they, their insurance policy should be so expensive that it becomes unaffordable for them when they keep getting lawsuits like this. But they don't care. So.
Well, we have some stats I want to bring up because this is so much of a thing that, there's articles written about this. There's all sorts of stats on it. African Americans are more likely to face discrimination at work than any other racial group in the United States. That just makes my heart sink. 58% of Asian Americans report significant experiences of racial discrimination, and 35% of Native Americans also report significant experiences of racial discrimination. It just seems America just wants to make sure that they keep separation of all of us, or divisiveness, all in our Kool-Aid up in here, because they seem like they're never going to accept anything. And then under job discrimination cases increased substantially in 2024, with the EEOC receiving over 500,000 calls and 81,055 new charges. Yet 45% of workers are unaware of their company's anti-discrimination policies. Guys, I just said they're doing everything that they can to dismantle DEI, even saying that companies that do, like, there's a famous case right now of a minority company giving minority women grants, and the government stepped in and said, you can't do that anymore because that's racist. So I don't understand this. I want to address a couple of comments that we have. Angela Marie said, I went to a job interview once wearing a wig. It was a panel interview with 2 white women and 1 white man. I aced the interview, got the job, and showed up on the day wearing my natural hair.
Wow.
So we're either discriminated by our looks, our hair, our names. I just think that is crazy. And then MPRS says Angela is an absolutely beautiful name. Mine is Angela, but I'm about to change it to Angelica. Now that reminds me of that beautiful name, Angelica. And I got introduced to that name with Rugrats, and I just thought that was so cool. And that was like a young white character, right? I love that name. Baby Love says, I had a job as a case manager, but I had to resign because my supervisor at the time would not hold my job for 2 weeks. I had taken some courses and I had to do mandatory internship. So even with internships, we're looking at this. And then Derek Johnson brings up a great point, guys. We are really battling with the Supreme Court. Trump and Scottus are looking to weaken these discrimination laws even further. Guys, we have such a battle ahead of us. So, Yolanda, I know you're a queen today. I keep throwing questions at you.
Please bring them.
You have such an experience in this, and I don't want to miss this opportunity. So what advice do you give? Like, I know that you say, we've talked about how it affects us, but is there any way other than what we've already talked about that you can think outside the box, even though still honoring your name, that we can get better results in our job searches?
Oh, goodness. I think it's on an individual level, on what to do as an individual, as who you are. First of all, always stay true to yourself. Okay, whatever you feel. If you do not want to change your name, don't change your name. Your struggle will be a little bit more, but continue on the path and you will always be guided to where you need to go. If you feel like you have to change your name to fit in, to compete with, corporate America, and that's who your sole purpose, that's what your sole purpose is telling you to do, then do that. Change your name, make your money, okay, and then leave. But I really feel that on an individual level, people should just do what they really, really, truly feel they should do. I know for myself, Laura, I can't be compromised. I can't lower who I am on this earth just to fit into a European ideal. I refuse to do it. I'm not going to do it. But so my advice to anyone is to really do what's in their soul to do. That's the only thing I can say, because we're all going to take different paths to get to where we need to go. So always be true to yourself and do what you feel you need to do in order to make it in this system.
I agree. T. Chanel says many minorities wrongfully terminated have no idea how to remove emotions and use solid facts about their termination. I have personally utilized EEOC in one, and I always have receipts. And I will tell you, I did the same thing with a job in Denver, Colorado. I had worked with a company for 5 years, and it was a small company. And I was the only Black person who was working there. And the owner's wife decided she wanted to come back. She wanted to come back and start the workforce again, but she wanted her best friend to be in my position. And I went from glowing reviews, raises every time, to all of a sudden a problem employee when nothing had changed. And so I sued and won as well. So we need to understand that we have power to stand on, whether it's your name, whether it's your appearance, whether it's the natural hair thing that they're always trying to tell us that we need to fit in. To stand on our power. And I think that is a huge thing. But I want to remind people who you are, Yolanda, because, you've done some serious work in this. This is Yolanda Spivey, and she's also known as Bianca White. And she is famously known for conducting experiments with names in job applications. She wrote about it. She's been interviewed on it on many different platforms. So she has direct experience. As we were talking about this gentleman, Dwight, who is suing a hotel because they would not hire him or wouldn't even give him an interview when he applied for his name. He changed his name from Dwight to John and ended up exposing some bias. And, it's just a shame that we have to do this, especially when I want to point out again, the hotel's name ain't that easy either. So, it just goes to show that they definitely have a bias. But what was interesting to me is the last name he chose. It's Jabrowski. And typically, isn't that like a Jewish name? So it's very interesting how that happened. So Athena, do you think there are cultural factors that influence hiring practices and perceptions? What did you do before you stepped into your power of your business?
Firm. And I would definitely say that there are some cultural factors in regard to this, because like I said, I had American, Chinese colleagues, African colleagues, and they always had a nickname or a condensed version of their name. I've been in rooms where people did not expect me to be a Black person, a Black woman because of my name. People usually think that I'm Greek or white or whatever the case may be. And I think that is something that we need to take a look at the landscape of America, especially with all the tension I feel happening on a civil level between all the politics and race and discrimination, it just seems like everything is all in this pot that's about to like explode almost. But I do believe that regardless of what you have to do to survive, some of us may condense our names. Some of us might, stand on business and be like, look, this is the name, learn to pronounce it. All I want for our viewers to understand is that no one has to respect you. No one has to do anything, right? If they do, great. But the reality of the situation is that is not what people are necessarily trying to do. So you need to figure out in your life, in your reality, what is going to be the best move for you. Now, even if you have a Black name or whatever the name may be, that's typical, right? There's also discrimination with like, okay, is that a ratchet name? Some of these other names that are so we haven't even touched that. Like, some of these very creative names that we have in our community. I would even expect them to even face it more, because not only you're a Black person, but they have a stereotype of what kind of Black person that you are. And unfortunately, other groups have positive stereotypes. If I have an Asian name, they're going to think that, oh, I show up to work on time, I'm really good at math, and I'm really professional, and I'm good with money, right? Or other groups benefit from positive stereotypes with their names. We do not.
I agree
with
that.
Well, I mean, look at our own people. Remember, again, Raven Simone said that with her whole chest. I think, Yolanda, you mentioned that, right? Yep. Said that with her whole chest on national TV, that she wouldn't hire someone with a Black name.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we have our own people. I mean, there were times when right now my hair is natural, and over the summer, I'm like all natural. And I used to wear my hair curly and out. I had some of my own people trying to tell me, and trust me, it wasn't looking messy. I had some of my own people, oh, can you pull it back? Can you? So it's a whole thing. We're brainwashed ourselves sometimes. Yeah. So it's an uphill battle.
That's true. That's true. Now, I will tell you that there is okay, listen, little gremlins, I'm gonna need y'all to go on back. We're talking about something really important. Okay. All right, now bye. Okay. I have a really great story about that, Badana. I have a niece who works for the IRS. And something happened with one of the children or something that she was trying to help. And the mother brought this baby in, and when she asked her, okay, is this your baby? She was like, yes, this is Shatad. And she said, okay, can you spell that for me? And I kid you not, it was spelled Shithead. Now, and the first thing she thought to herself is, how is this child going to survive in this world with her name spelled that way? It's a unique name, yes, and she didn't go any further on how she got it. But now this child has to go through life with that name, putting that on applications, putting that on school papers. We do have to think about some of these names and see how that is actually going to affect our children. And that brings a great comment from Jenny. Jenny says, I wish more Black women would give their children names that won't injure them. There are so many wonderful names from the Bible, history, antiquity, Alexander, Jason. Why not use them? I think it's a personal preference of what you do within your family, but I do think that she brings up a very valid point on how we are going to possibly be affecting our children's future financially and emotionally in our lives. So, Yolanda, I'd love to hear what you think about that.
Okay. I have a sister. Her name is Shaquanda. Okay. Shaquanda of all names. Okay. Exactly. And she is vice president of the division of Ciroc. So, like, she never ever diminished who she was. She never ever diminished her name. She never said, "Oh, call me shy," or any of that. She never ever. And this is the name my mother gave her, because this is the name my mother was compelled to name her. So I feel, again, if you want to name your child Jaquan, Daquan, whatever, name your child Daquan, okay? And let Daquan be great in the world and set him up for greatness. And the more we conform, the more you lose your self-identity. The more you conform, okay? Let them conform to you. They need your talent. They need you, you know? So, and this also what makes the world go round. If everybody's name was John and Susan and Karen, this will be a boring ass world. This world would be so boring. Your name's Susan. Oh, my name's Susan too. You know, like who? Like it would just be boring as hell. I really feel that we should do what's in our souls again. Whatever compels you, what you want to name your child. Of course, it has a meaning. Every child's name has a meaning, and go for it. And don't let that name stifle your child's future. Because I know that, you know, we live in this world. Look, I'm being a realist. I know we live in a world where they are going to judge them by their name. And it may take them a longer time to get to where they need to go, but they will go where they need to go always. Everything that's for you will always be for you. Nothing will ever pass you. So name your child Daquan. Name him Shanae, whatever you want to name your kid, name them that. That's your prerogative. That's your right.
I believe you are so right on that. And I am really sad because we know that you have to go, but I am so grateful that you joined us today and shared your experiences and your wealth of knowledge. We are grateful to you for joining us today, but can you please let us know where we can find you so that we can follow you?
Yes, y'all. So my name is Yolanda Spivey. You can reach me on Facebook, Yolanda.Spivey, Instagram also, Yolanda.Spivey. My website, if you guys are interested in any type of insurance products, we can insure your pinky toe down to your life. So give us a call, www.mwhitney.com. Again, mwhitney.com. Our number is 833-28. Is it 289? So our number is 833 buy black, and black is BLAK. 833 buy black, BLAK. Trying to figure out where else can I'm on TikTok now. My assistant put me on TikTok, so I'm TikToking now. I don't know what he got me doing up there.
We love it. We love seeing you everywhere. So we'll definitely be looking for you on that. I love me a TikTok too.
Yeah. But ladies, thank you so much for this. I appreciate the conversation. I'm so sorry I have to go. But
we'll have you again.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, and we are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you do not want to miss any of our episodes, it's so simple. All you have to do is take your little personal assistant right here and type in the word Queens, QUEENS, and type it to 87948. Also, you can catch us on Spotify, same name, Fly Nubian Money. Make sure you go over there and take us on the road with you. I want you to also like and share and continue the comments, because we love being interactive with you. This is not just a talk at you show. This is a talk with you show, and we'd love to hear some of your experiences. But if you also think that you've got what it takes to come and join and be a guest queen, such as Yolanda today, we would love for you to email us at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@REELVIRTUAL.net. And if you want to get your money right and tight and you don't know where to begin, all you have to do is go to our website at flynubianmoney.com. We have a lot of wonderful resources for you there, courses, and you can kind of get an idea of where you can get started, because you know what? We don't all get educated on what to do with our money. And sometimes we're confused, and we want to make sure that we have those resources for you. I want to address a couple of the comments that we have. Ayana, I love that name. Ayana Franklin says, yes, stop letting other people decide what's ghetto and appropriate. Mm-hmm. We decide what's right in ourselves. And I do know, remember guys, in the 70s, we grew up with a lot of times there were Black Power names and Black Pride names that were using names directly from Africa and adding those in. But I want to ask people in the comments, what is one of the most unusual names that maybe you have heard that you thought was beautiful and you just kind of embraced it, or you thought it was something that was, because we all think it, just like I told you about that story that she came in with the child's name, is this something that's going to hurt the harm the child later? Because we all have come across some very unusual names. We got two ladies here that have got beautiful unusual names, Athena and Madonna. I feel so plain. I need to be named Angelica or something.
I love Madonna. First of all, I love Madonna, the artist. I love the name. You can just go by one name, honey. You know, when you have a great name.
She has that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So Baby Love says her name is Marshall Henderson, and I am not going to change it. I love that name. My first name is French. I don't have French in me, but I do have German in me. Our people have been through so much. God help us. Yes, Lord, we have. It seems like we are battling on every hand, but what I've noticed, ladies, is I've also noticed that many Caucasians are now also adding some of these names into their children as well. Madonna, is this something that you have seen in your communities and in your business? Have you seen more different cultures embracing unusual names?
Say in what I do, have I seen those kinds of names? But that white America is doing it. Does that really surprise you? Haven't they always followed our lead? So, to say that they're doing that and that we're surprised, no. This is kind of off the beaten track, but you know how Black kids, they have the big send off for the proms, and you see the comments, so ghetto, so this, so that. Someone made a comment about a month or two ago. She says, watch, white people are going to start doing it, and it's going to be unique. It's going to be different. So, they're always following us. So no, it doesn't surprise me that they're including our names now.
I think it's very interesting that they are, but usually those people are what I call our allies anyway. Those that do embrace our culture do have a respect for our culture as well. When I was a kid and we were playing make-believe, I always pretended to be my sisters. I never wanted to be anybody famous. My sisters' names were simple, Emily and Ruth. I thought those were gorgeous names. But I also loved Becky, who was across the street from me. And I also loved Shaquanda, my first grade friend. So I felt that the more diversity I had in my life, it also bettered my life as well. Athena, what about you? When you were growing up and playing make-believe, was you pretending to have babies? What was their names?
Listen, my baby's names were like of different goddesses. I was very like, I've been doing this goddess thing since forever. So, not really. But you know what? If you have a ratchet name, embrace a little ratchet name, right? It makes you stand out in a crowd. Own it. I mean, if I had a name like Shaquanda Leisha, I would probably use a nickname on the resume. I'm not even gonna lie. But once I got the job, I would, my name's Shaquanda Lisa. How are you today? Just we have those stereotypes, and then our parents were, just being creative. Our parents were, being creative and coming up with a nice ghetto rachi name, Ghetto Fabulous, which which is fine. But I do think that regardless of whatever your name is, the one thing I will say to everyone is don't have any shame about it. Don't attach being shameful about it because you were born with this name. I think if you focus more, unfortunately, we're human beings, but if you focus more on your character and what your contribution and value is to the world, then that should outshine any kind of name that you have.
I agree. And we have someone who says that they love your name, Goddess Athena. And I do too. I think that's absolutely wonderful. I love Madonna too. Hey, listen, we got a couple of other good comments I want to address. Baby Love said, and I think this is a good point. If you graduated from an HBCU and put that degree on your resume, you will get very few interviews. So it's not just our names. Sometimes they do look at our resumes and see certain things that give away our race. And that's not always true, because a common myth is that HBCUs are only for African Americans. That's not true. That's not true. They're open to everyone. So, and then we have All Things Beauty, who said, my name is Vinci and no one can pronounce it. I'm immediately identified as a white male and get lots of attention from my resume. Interview time, things change. Assumptions are that in foreign. I think that is so interesting. So, Madonna, have you ever made the mistake of assuming what someone was just by a name before you actually met them?
Absolutely. Do I remember the, exact event? No. But of course, I have been surprised when I see a name and then the person walks in the door, So yes, I have. I mean, I remember even for me, I went to, I didn't complete there, but I went to Brandeis University, and I had a Jewish roommate, and they, introduced us by a male. And she thought, well, how can this Jewish girl have a Christian name? So she didn't know that I was a Black female. So when we met, she was like, oh, I was wondering how a Jewish girl could have a Christian name. So, I've done it, and it's been done to me.
I've just never had that issue, just because I'm just named Laura. Everybody thinks Little House on the Prairie with my name. So here's something. Here's our. We're getting ready to wind down, but someone in our comment earlier did say that they changed their child's name because they felt that they would give them a better opportunity in life. Athena, is this something that you would consider if you thought that this was something that would hold your child back in the future?
First of all, any child coming from this womb, honey, is going to have a spectacular name out the gate. I'm not even wasting any time making any mistakes with that. But if I felt like the name that I originally gave my child was becoming an issue in their life, I wouldn't automatically change their legal name. I would maybe suggest that they come up with a nickname and leave that type of responsibility to them when they're older and old enough to legally change their name on their own and come to their own conclusion about whether or not they felt it was important for them to do that. But I would be in full support of it if that was something that they wanted to do. Because I feel like you can just put a nickname on a resume. Most job applications, most resumes allow for nicknames. Most company allow for nicknames anyway. So I don't even think that, changing the entire name is anything that even needs to happen.
Because like I said, what we've all expressed here, and then even in our comments, that is, we have to step into our power. Everybody has a different life journey, and we all have to be able to live that journey in our full being of who we are. But if you feel like something is holding you back, there's no shame in your game, and feeling like if you need to change it, do that. Ladies, I have enjoyed this so much, and I want to thank our audience, our viewers, who have given us wonderful comments and spent some time with us. I would actually love to hear your final thoughts on this, and I'm going to begin with you, Madonna, and can you please tell us where we can find you?
Hey everyone, again, my name is Madonna Brown. I can be found on TikTok. I am the Insurance Queen, and I am Madonna B on Instagram. But it's time for we as a people to take back our power and create for ourselves. Everything is being dismantled that was done for us because of more than 400 years of slavery and injustice. So it's time for us to create our own. It's time for us to take responsibility for our own. I'm not saying you have to step out of the scene, but if the scene isn't providing you what you need, as we've said and heard for a long time, build your own table. Build your own table. Don't wait for anyone else to permit you to sit at it.
That's powerful. T-shirt time, Madonna. T-shirt time. We need you to make a T-shirt. What are your final thoughts on this, and where can we find you?
Listen, Madonna, if I had my tambourine, I need to start bringing my tambourine to the shows. But my final thoughts are this. Listen, Birdman did a thing when he said, put some respect on my name, honey. So that is the energy that you need to have when it comes to your own name. But I will also say, if you are finding that your name is stopping you from a job, stopping you from a bag, then you might want to use the strategy of a nickname just to get you through the door, honey, because we do not believe in swimming upstream, and hard work is not our ministry over here. Now, ladies, if you love anything that I have said, if you want to level up your own bag, become confident with your finances, and to create the wealth you deserve, you can always find me at wewealthwoman.com and at wewealthwoman. Today, we discussed name and hiring practices and how that may affect employment. But I have a free preview to my course, The Goddess Guide to Money. And on a section in there, we talk about networking and up-leveling your career. So if you're interested in that, a free preview is available at wewealthwoman.com. I love you guys, and it would be lovely to be your queen for today.
I absolutely love that. I love being a part of this family, Queens, and I'm so appreciative of both of you. All of our queens here are fantastic. You want to make sure that you follow them. My message to you today is we all have a life journey. It took me a long time to learn that. I always wanted to fit in and be the person that everybody loved. But it wasn't until later on in life that I knew that that wasn't always my journey. Someone else's journey is not my journey, and I had to step into my power. So whether it be your name, your appearance, your size, your weight, your anything, know that you are here for a reason. Step into your power and be the light. And you can find me. I made it real easy. You can find me everywhere. bit.ly/Laura Key Info, and you can catch all my socials there. Now, I want to take the time to say thank you so much for joining us today. You have been watching Fly Nubian Money, and we are here Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, how do you not miss an episode? Well, you simply just type the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948, and then head on over to Spotify and subscribe to us there. And then also, if you want to join the conversation, come in and be a guest like we had Yolanda Day. Absolutely fabulous. If you missed any of this, go back and watch it from the very beginning. All you have to do is email us at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@REELVIRTUAL.net. And finally, if you want to get your money right, because this is what we do here, we help you to up your game on money. You want to visit us on our website at flynubianmoney.com, where we have plenty of resources and courses for you to get yourself out of the dungeons of debt maybe, and just figure out what you could do with your life, with your money. Again, we say thank you. We are here Monday through Friday. We appreciate your comments. And guess what? Keep them going, because all of us like to go back and watch them, and we may also be able to respond to you on any platform that you are watching us from. Thank you, ladies, for being here today. Why don't you come off of your mics and let everybody know goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow. Be well, y'all. Bye.
Bye. Thank